Oh, well, those look peaky. We'll just take the edges down again. Okay. And erode. And then mounds. So, right, okay, more or less the same process as last time. See how they look? Very peaky. Do I like those better? See how they look from this angle. Well, they're certainly dramatic. I'll go for that. Right. So if I select all three terrains now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant this into another scene. So I'll edit, copy the terrains, then select just the camera, edit, and copy the matrix of the camera. That will record its camera position. Now, what I want to do is bring in another scene, and I've got this scene from I've got Bryce Tutorials info, Bryce downloads, look for my name here, and I've got Bryce Pro Cloudscapes, and I want the clouds and sky from this scene in the scene that I'm building now. So I've got this product in, so go File and Open. I don't save, and I find the scene file for that, which is there, and open that, and there it's loaded in that scene. And now get rid of the things I don't need. So I don't need the terrain, I don't need the water, and then I edit and paste the terrains in from last time, and then I select the camera again, just the camera on its own, and edit and paste the matrix. Now I think the only thing that won't have been recorded is the field of view, so I just adjust that slightly, and then we'll have a look how things look with this sky. So okay, not too bad I suppose. The lighting is being provided by ambient, and there is some ambient channel in these materials I noticed when I was editing them, and it has to be fully white global ambient to work the clouds. And also we've got this sky dome colour, which is a straight down light from above, so that's filling in some of our shadow regions nicely, but not providing too much overhead for the volumetric clouds. If I look here, there's the volumetric clouds and these are my mountains, so they're not interfering with one another, but the composition itself is a bit dull because the horizon's just flats. So if we move it down to a third, we'll get to see more of the sky, since we're making a feature of the clouds, maybe not quite that much. And I might consider rotating the sun round slightly so the light catches some of the tops of these mountains a bit more. So I'll rotate the sun round a little bit. I'm watching for the sun getting clipped by the clouds. That's the other consideration, which if I record this camera position in a camera dot now, I can see the sun, which is visible as this little icon. If you haven't got that visible in your scene and you want to turn it on, you hold down Control and Alt and double click on the rollerball, and then from then on you can hold Control and Alt and click on the wireframe to position the sun. And now I'm looking sideways, I can see where the sun's interacting with the cloud, and the cloud will cast shadows on the land, which is a nice effect, but you might lose lighting. So now we've got a bit of cloud shadow here, which is why things are brighter in the distance. So that provides some contrast in the scene. The haze is interacting with the mountains and is pushing them back perceptually, and so that's not looking bad. I quite like moving the camera around in the scene. Not the camera, well, I like to move the camera around in the scene, but the sun around in the scene as well, because once you've got your scene set up, it's surprising the difference that just changing the sun has on the effect of your scene. So I mean, I quite like this position because it's lighting the snow peak there, and we're getting to see some shadows here. So often you find that the scene gets more dramatic the closer the sun gets to the horizon. Obviously quite a bit of it's been shielded by the cloud there, so it's just a matter of position your sun and then render, which will take a little while with the volumetric cloud. So which is why using the nano preview and getting the position of the sun where you want it is a good idea, rather than render it out each time, and using the plot render here to position. So the mountains don't look too bad now. They looked a bit ropey under the other sky, but they don't look too bad under these conditions. And I think I quite like the light coming from the left here and skipping across the dunes, and this seems to be an appropriate level of fill-in and shadow. So I'll say that's more or less it. Render this out, and then I'll pause the video while it renders, and we'll see how long it takes. So here's a render time. Prediction about 5 minutes, so I'll just pause that. Okay, that wasn't too bad. It was not too far out with the 5 minutes, perhaps a little bit longer for the AA pass, but what I'm thinking is that the dunes themselves may be looking a bit glossy. So we'll look at the material and see what we've got in there. Oops. Select the terrains, go into the material lab. We've got some specularity here. Maybe that's not an appropriate choice. Let's use the plop render to have a look. See, well, it doesn't seem to be making that much difference. It's just an impression I was getting. I'm not sure that the specularity is really an appropriate thing to have in there. And perhaps I might want to move the clouds around. Well, let's experiment with that then. So move the slab down that controls the clouds. You've got to imagine that this continues infinitely in all directions, this slab, even though we only see a portion of it, much like the infinite plane that Bryce comes with. You only get to see a section of it. It just extends in all directions. So I've lowered that, and obviously that's obscuring the sun slightly. I can thicken the slab. It changes the effect to be, well, it takes a lot longer to render with the thicker slab, so maybe that's not such a good idea. I'll reposition the sun. Let's see what we can get with a different angle and a different position of the slab. Okay, what I really want is some light on these dunes, but the slab's getting in the way, so I'll slide it off to one side, see if that helps change things a little bit. It's a bit cumbersome working with volumetric clouds. The effect's quite nice when you get it, but there it's quite slow because the sun's having a low angle through the cloud. As a higher angle, it's going through more directly, and so it doesn't go as slow. I keep repositioning the sun. See what we get here. That's quite nice. A bit of light on there, a bit of light on the mountain side there. I'm going to raise the slab again, see if I can get a bit more through without it coming to full light. What I want is more on the mountain tops, but not as much on the ground. So it's catching the tops of the mountains there, but also there's some mountain in shadow, and we've got some dunes in shadow as well. And we can always increase the brightness of the sun. Let's try taking that up a bit. Let's try 700. Oh, well, it's gone a bit over bright. Look how bright the clouds have gone there. You can change the response of the clouds by going into the material lab. Change the diffusion down to 10. So that'll reduce the response of the clouds to the sun, but we've got the light arriving, so that might be quite a nice effect. We'll let that one render out then, see what happens. What's it saying? About 5 minutes again. Okay, I'll pause the video. Okay, well, that's rendered out, and again, Bryce didn't do too bad a job of guessing how long it would take, so that's good. Sometimes it can be out by quite a long margin. So here we've got the sun clipping under the clouds and a bit of the cloud shadow falling on there, and we turn the light up and we've got this bit of peak, which makes a sort of a feature in the scene, which is quite like. And the balance is over on the left, and the horizon's directly not splitting the scene in half, so this all adds to a better compositional balance. I'm not sure about the shape of some of these dunes, but in the 15 minutes or so that it's taken me to make this scene and set it up, I don't think that's too bad really. So I'll call that it, and hopefully that will be of some use to you.